In this video, we will study a very instructive game in the modern defense, in which you will learn how to attack the opponent's pawn center and establish a firm blockade on the light-colored squares. The game began with the move e4. g6, the modern defense. Black's idea is to develop the king's bishop by fianchetto, allowing white to occupy the center with his pawns, and then attack it with his pieces from afar. The game continued with d4, occupying the center with his pawns. Black replied with c6, a very flexible move. White played knight c3, developing his queen's knight and increasing his control over the center squares. Black played d5, placing a pawn in the center and attacking the e4 pawn, with the aim of destroying the opponent's pawn center. Black's strategy is to attack on the light-colored squares. If white now captures the black pawn with takes d5. Black plays c takes d5. Then he can continue with moves like knight f6, bishop g7, short castling, knight c6, a6, etc. Black has very good play. In the game, after the move d5, white played e5, advancing in the center to gain space and keep his two central pawns. Black played h5, aiming to establish a firm blockade on the light-colored squares on the king side. White played bishop f4, developing his queen's bishop. White's plan is to mobilize his queen and then castle longside. Black played a5, beginning to advance his queenside pawns, to prepare for an attack against the enemy's castling once white castles queenside. White played queen d2, mobilizing his queen and preparing to castle queenside. Black played knight a6, developing his queen's knight, with the idea of then bringing it closer to the center with the knight maneuver, knight c7 followed by knight e6. White played knight g to e2, developing his king's knight. Black responded with knight c7. White castled queenside. Black played knight e6, bringing his knight closer to the center and threatening to capture the opponent's bishop, thereby taking away the opponent's bishop pair. White played bishop e3 to defend his bishop. Black played knight h6, aiming to move the knight to the f5 square and attack the opponent's bishop again. White played f4, strengthening his pawn center and opening up a possible retreat for the bishop to a square where it cannot be captured. Black played knight f5, bringing his knight closer to the center and threatening to capture the opponent's bishop. White played bishop f2, defending his bishop. Black played a4, gaining even more space on the queenside. White played g3, with the intention of continuing with the h3 and g4 plan to expel the opponent's knight and force it to retreat. Black played b5, continuing the advance of his pawns on the queenside. The black king is perfectly safe in the center, as it is closed and in no danger of being attacked by the opponent's pieces. White played h3, preparing the move g4. Black played b4, continuing his attack on the queenside and threatening to capture the opponent's knight. White played knight b1 to defend his knight. Black played queen b6, mobilizing his queen and moving it to the queenside to incorporate it into the queenside attack. White played bishop g2, developing the king's bishop and defending his rook to be able to advance with g4 and finally expel the opponent's knight from its excellent position. Black played bishop a6, developing the queen's bishop and preparing to castle queenside if necessary. White played g4, attacking the opponent's knight to force it to retreat. Black played bishop takes e2, eliminating the opponent's knight, leaving the f4 pawn undefended, and threatening to capture the d1 rook. If white now plays queen takes e2, black plays bishop h6, completing the development of his minor pieces and threatening to capture the f4 pawn. After g takes f5, black plays knight takes f4, attacking the opponent's queen and threatening a dangerous discovered attack. Black is winning. For example, after queen f3, black plays knight d3, checkmate. In the game, after the move bishop takes e2, white played g takes f5, capturing the black knight. Black played knight takes f4, defending the e2 bishop, attacking the g2 bishop, and opening the h6 c1 diagonal. It is not possible to capture the knight with the queen takes f4, since black plays the bishop h6, pinning the opponent's queen, and black wins. In the game, after the move knight takes f4, white played rook d to g1 to defend his rook and bishop. Black played g takes f5, capturing the white pawn. Black is now 2 pawns up. It is still not possible to capture the black knight. And in the case of the bishop e3, to try to eliminate the knight, black plays knight takes g2. And after the rook takes g2, black plays bishop f3 and wins. In the game, after the move g takes f5, white played rook h2 to be able to capture on g2 without his rooks being attacked. Black played b3, continuing his queenside attack. Black threatens to capture on a2, which would win. If white plays knight c3 to defend the a2 pawn, black can play b takes a2. After knight takes a2, black can play rook b8, threatening checkmate. Black has a decisive attack. For example, after c3, to defend the mate threat. Black plays bishop h6, incorporating his bishop into the attack. After, for example, king b1. Black plays bishop d3, check. King a1. Knight e6, freeing up the bishop and attacking the opponent's queen, which can no longer defend the b2 pawn. After bishop e3, black plays bishop takes e3. And after queen takes e3. Queen takes b2 is checkmate. In the game, after the move b3, white played takes b3, capturing the black pawn. Black played takes b3, and white resigned. It is not possible to capture the pawn with c takes b3, since black plays bishop h6, incorporating the bishop into the attack. After, for example, bishop e3, black plays knight d3, check. After king c2. Rook a2, and black is winning. After the move a takes b3, bishop f1 is also useless, with the idea of capturing the enemy bishop. Because black plays rook a2, invading with his rook on the second rank. After bishop takes e2, black plays knight takes e2, check. And after queen takes e2, black plays bishop h6, check. After bishop e3, black plays queen takes d4, taking advantage of the pins and threatening to capture on e3 or b2, which would lead to mate. After, for example, rook to e1 to reinforce the defense of the bishop on e3, black plays queen takes b2, check. If king takes d2, then queen takes c2 is checkmate. And if white plays king d1, black plays queen takes b1, check, and after bishop c1, black plays queen takes c1, checkmate. After the move queen d4, white can also plays the move bishop takes h6. But black plays queen takes b2, check, and is winning. For example, after king d2, black plays queen d4, check. And king c1 is not possible because b2 is checkmate. After the move queen d4, check, white can play queen d3, but black can play rook takes c2, check. After king e1, black can capture the opponent's queen or simply play queen takes g1, check. After queen f1, black plays queen takes f1, check. After king takes f1, black plays rook takes h2, and black has a decisive advantage. A very instructive game. Now that you know how to fight against the opponent's pawn center and create a firm blockade on squares of one color, there's one more video you should watch, but almost no one will tell you about it. Click on the following video so you can complete your training. See you in the next video.